I began back in '79 with Apollo Disco from Stevenage. And how I fell into DJing was by accident. We had a double booking. We had the equipment to do 2 discos, but we didn't have the records. So for some reason, I don't know how it happened, but I got volunteered to DJ this one, which was first time DJing. And we had a lad in a car, Mini Cooper, who was running between discos with different records. Then I got married to Steve's sister. And he was doing a disco at the time with Tony, but not making a very good job of it. So we decided to do it properly, and that's hence where Fantasy Disco was born.
In the early days, Chris and I got to know a guy called James Bartholomew, who was a DJ on a local radio station to where we lived. He also worked for a local newspaper, and one of the adverts in the paper offered business cards. So we took the offer up, and he designed our Fantasy Disco logo. From that, he offered us a job to do a disco for a local school for 5 and 6 year olds. He turned up, set the disco up, and the kids absolutely loved it. They were really, really good dancers. The funny thing was they kept offering us money to play music for them, which we'd never had before. And we got really involved with the kids. I was out on the floor with the kids playing, encouraging the kids to join in, and it proved to be a really successful night. Following on from that, the school contacted us and wanted us to do all of the functions for the school.
They were hard work, but they were very entertaining, but you enjoyed it because the kids just knew they just wanted to have fun. Most of them were normally outside. We did one for Michael Jackson, that's no pun, it's not the man himself, but that was his name, in his tennis court, one Saturday afternoon for about 4 hours. It was hard work, but everybody enjoyed it. And, you know, obscure places, yeah, we've done most village halls around where, well, I would say probably within 50 miles. Pubs on a Thursday night. We did the Bull at Fenny Stratford for probably a year or so, if not longer.
Alpha Data Systems, near Luton, Fantasy Disco, Fantasy Nightclub. This is Mel and Kim. They're at the Radio London Soul Night Out on Thursday, if you're going. Paradise Lost in Watford, £5 a ticket. Me and Steve are going. Showing out Friday night, Saturday night, any night you like.
We only advertised probably in the first year, 18 months. We had a regular advert in the local papers, but after that we had people coming back for more after we'd done parties for them. Weddings was always a good one because there was such a wide age group of people at weddings. You had everything from retirement parties down to 18s, and you got a lot of work from weddings.
Weddings were, for me, a little bit tedious because you know, like background music in the afternoon from 2 o'clock, and you know, obviously we used to get the bride and groom to come up and start the dancing, and then Steve would do a bit of, and I'd probably do a set later in the evening.
Kids parties, 16s, 18s, everybody was drunk by 9 o'clock, and it was pointless. The middle age group, the 30s, 30 plus, they were good because you could play a varied type of music. You didn't just stick to 80s. Chris liked 70s soul, so he loved it when we did an older group. So I would say something like that was probably my favourite.
From then, we ended up getting into working for Thames Television, which was the bill. But we get to meet Mark Wingett, who was in it, at a disco that we did by chance. That's how it happened. It was just pure accident. And he was serving behind the bar at this school disco he was doing for a chap for, I think it was on Thursday night or something like that, for 30 quid that we did, which we weren't really happy about doing, but we did it because it was a booking, and it led to a lot.
Towards the later stages of the 80s, my life changed and Chris's life changed. We moved on. That's not true.
Well, Steve's my youngest brother. I'm 18 years older than him. He was always interested in music from the word go, always dancing around, playing with parents' stereo and putting on the records. Always seemed to know how to do it by the time he was about 4 or 5 years old.
We moved away, both of us. I brought another business, which is a video rental shop. My wife at the time was working a lot abroad, in Hong Kong and Japan and places. I lived in Halifax, Steve lived in Mitcheldean, and it was a long way apart. And you kind of missed it for a long time. I suppose everyone used to say, well, why didn't you keep the gear and carry on? You couldn't do what we did in Yorkshire, what we did in down south, if you like.
As we was doing a lot of work in South, and London was becoming more common, to do work in London, we were spending around £70 a week on records. And if you factor fuel into that, it just wasn't worth turning up for the venues. So we decided to finish in the January of 1990 with a weekender, which was booked through the London Diving Club and Thames TV. They set up 2 massive marquees. We had one, and the bar had the other one. And all of the lighting that we had fitted to the eaves of the marquee, and it was like a nightclub.
I was gutted, but there was unforeseen circumstances for it to happen. It just would not work. But like I said to you earlier in the film, we honoured our commitment, which cost us money, but we still did it because it was important to us to leave Fantasy Disco on a high.
It was sad, and it still is today. It's now 30 years on. Is it really 30 years? Yeah, 30 years on. It's still sad because you miss it. You miss. Hello. Getting fucking emotional. Where did that come from?
It was his world, wasn't it? Him and his friend, and it was always fun. My daughters loved it, and especially my oldest daughter. She would have followed him to the end of the earth to be in his disco. So I know that. It was a nice time.
We got to finish soon, so we're going to mix them up. We're going to play some hot jazz funk. This is Gwen Guthrie, ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Hey!
I used to buy all my music from a shop in Stevenage, and the guy that worked there, got to know him really well, and instead of going in and asking what's in the charts or what, selecting records, I would literally walk in and he would give me a stack of records that he'd saved me through the week. Music is still a massive part of my life. Never a day goes by without me listening to some kind of music, but I always end up going back to 80s stuff, the stuff we used to play, Luther Vandross, Kool and the Gang, anything house, club, jazz funk.
I could do a fantastic mix with Mel and Kim Respectable between two, and you could get them slowing a little bit. One's slow either forward or back, and you get flange in your mix. It's really nice. You can play. I think we had an extended version of Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. It lasted 22 minutes, and people love that.
There was 2 songs that we played, quite often, and that was Relax, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and the Communards, Don't Leave Me This Way. Relax was always first. It started the light show off, and when it says "Hit me with your laser beams," Chris was on the lasers, and he just took over there, and I switched all the lights off, and the room was full of lasers, and people reacted to that so well. and then bring all the lights back in. The track fades out, and the Communard starts with a beat, and kept the music going. And you know, it's such a high song. Don't Leave Me This Way. It's a very powerful, you know, dance song. 29 years has passed.
It doesn't feel much
But
different,
it
does
doesn't
it?
feel. No, it doesn't
I know
feel.
it sounds silly, but it doesn't feel much different
We
to be.
had a gap of 16 years where we wasn't in contact with it.
Well, we
with
both
each
had
other.
different lives.
But
our
our lives had
children.
moved on, yeah. But now,
But music never changed a bit,
No,
did it?
no.
You know.
and you know, the memories of it was you was always in conversations
Well,
all
so
the time.
was you.
To finish off the night, we would always end with one track, which was our cooling down track, if you like, and a bit of a theme song, and that was Rodney Franklin, The Groove.